Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
For this is what the Sovereign Lord says.
Why do you need prophets to tell people who you are and what you want?
If you can justify everything that the God of the Bible has done, then you can justify any of your behavior.
A lot of this mentality is trickling into what is now mainstream right-wing Christianity.
I am capable of empathy greater than this God of the Bible.
This is a Bible that they tell kids. This is the good Lord. This is the good book. He is fantasizing about murder, mass murder.
Head over to sacrilegiousdiscourse.com right now to find out how to leave us a review or support us on Patreon.
Hey there, sinners and saints. It's your favorite Bible-bashing duo from Sacrilegious Discourse, and we need your help.
That's right, folks. We're raising funds for some heavenly equipment and a studio that doesn't sound like it's in the depths of hell.
Our current setup, let's just say it's more apocalypse than audiophile.
So if you want to hear us dissect the Bible without the background noise of demonic squirrels, chip in a few bucks.
We're aiming for $5,000 to upgrade our audio and build a studio worthy of blasphemous banter.
Donate today and help us spread the good word of atheism.
You can find a link right on our homepage, sacrilegiousdiscourse.com. Every dollar counts.
Even if it's from your collection plate. Husband!
Wife!
So what are we doing today? I know what we're not doing.
We're not doing the Apocrypha.
We're not
doing what we said we would do last week.
But that's not my fault.
It's not. It's life's fault. It's my fault. It's various things' faults.
Well, I would say that it's a murderer's fault, personally.
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about today is, and we kind of apologize because we know a lot of our listeners don't like politics, but it is very relevant, we feel, and very important to speak about this because of how the conversation is going.
Speak of what?
Charlie Kirk.
Charlie motherfucking Kirk.
And for those of you who don't know, Charlie Kirk was killed at a speech in Utah last week.
And who he?
So we'll get into it more, but Charlie Kirk is a right-wing pundit slash debater slash
self-made content creator for the right.
Right, and very much brought a lot of the young vote along for Trump in the last election. So
he specifically geared his shizola at Gen Z.
Not an unimportant person with regard to the right.
Yeah.
And sadly, he lost his life. And we do not condone violence in any way with regard to killing somebody. Like, that is not, it's one thing if wife smacks me because I'm wrong, but don't kill somebody, right? I mean,
yeah.
that's not okay, ever.
Murder's not good.
But there's a deeper conversation to be had.
But he's a piece of shit, but murder's not good.
Right. So there's a deeper conversation to be had here. And that's what we're going to get into a little bit here. In the between in the intro here and the main portion, we're going to do a little bit of a difference with kind of a snippet of some of the words of Trump, Charlie Kirk, Fox News, and then finally at the very end, it will be Stephen Miller. So
who's just a doll. Isn't he a peach?
But it'll get us into kind of what we're discussing today. So let's do it.
Okie dokie.
We will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come.
A throbbing middle finger to God is the transgender thing happening in America right now. A woman shall not wear a man's garment, nor shall a man put on a woman's cloak. For whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God.
Thou shalt lay with another man shall be stoned to death.
I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that it does a lot of damage.
The country made a mistake when it passed the Civil Rights Act.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal.
It's long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible.
It's officially over now. After today, we're not taking it anymore. They're telling us we're at war. This is a war we didn't ask for, and this is a war they can't win.
They were told by a past administration, it became almost a culture, if somebody throws a rock at you, do nothing. If somebody spits in your face, do nothing. And I say, when they spit, you hit. You do whatever you want. You do whatever the hell you want.
Our universities, in many cases, have become incubators for extremism. They become the equivalent of madrasas for jihadism. The power of law enforcement under President Trump's leadership will be used to find you, will be used to take away your money, take away your power, and if you've broken the law, to take away your freedom.
Okay, so that was some of the things that have been said recently by Charlie Kirk and President Trump and by Stephen Miller and Fox News, for that matter.
It's not fun.
And that's not it. That's not all the things. You know,
that's not even the tip of the iceberg.
Right. And again, we don't condone violence as an answer to disagreements in politics. And we
can't just be shooting people.
No. And the person that killed Charlie Kirk is a terrible person. And we should be talking about mental health issues, and we should be talking about suppressing guns in the hands of people who are going to misuse them, and making sure that we have appropriate gun laws. These are the discussions we should be having.
Stop politicizing everything, husband.
Whatever. But we're not having those discussions.
No.
And I would just, before we get into more of what is happening, I would like to discuss more of what Charlie Kirk has said, because it's being passed over.
Well, I mean, I think one example of how ridiculous it is that kid went to their dad's house this last weekend, spent a couple hours with their dad on Sunday and came home and said they put their flag at half-mast and their dad cried over Charlie Kirk's death because he's a true American patriot.
Right, who is apparently going to receive posthumously the
Medal of Freedom or some shit.
The freedom, whatever the hell it is, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
The greatest award that you can receive as a civilian, as a non-military individual.
And I balk at that. I'm sorry. There is a line where this is just completely inappropriate, and then we're crossing that line.
Oh, we crossed that.
We've crossed it a while, but this is definitely very, very inappropriate. Because
every American should be just so appalled that is a thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I mean, I'm just gonna read a few. This isn't even all of them, and I'm getting these just for the record. I'm getting these quotes directly from The Guardian, an article that I'm reading from here, because they had them all nicely in one spot. And do you know what I found with most of the U.S.'s media?
What?
None of this was on any of our media.
Oh, well, that tracks.
For the most part. I'm sure that you could probably find one out there.
But you'd have to look. It's not on the first page, and that's fucking problematic.
No, and when I was looking up certain speeches by Charlie Kirk and what have you, the algorithms right now, when you search Charlie Kirk, you're finding all of the rhetoric about what happened, and you don't get to see, even if you directly search for it, it's very hard to find the stuff that he has said that is hateful on YouTube right now. It's hard to find it anywhere, for that matter.
Well, and I think before you get into reading that, I think that part of that is because if we say, well, he was a really bad guy and said a lot of really bad things, and that set off some people who, were unstable, and that's, kind of why he got killed, then it sounds like we're saying he brought it on himself and that he deserved to be murdered. And it's hold on, there's definite math happening there, but I think that maybe not all the variables that we used were the same, because I can say that he definitely said some hateful shit. And I can definitely say that definitely rubbed some people the wrong way.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I think that he should have been murdered over it. But it sounds like that's what I'm saying if I say that. And that's why you can't look that up, because that if you look up, why would somebody shoot this wonderful man? Then it sounds like, whoa, because they shot him because he was a rude piece of shit and brought it on himself.
Let's step that back just a little bit, though.
No, I'm trying to
He got shot because somebody with a mental health issue shot him.
But your question was, why can't we find this stuff that he said? That's why. Because if you find it, then it looks like, well, of course he got shot. Look at the shit he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's what we can't lean into.
Right.
We can't lean into that.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's one of those things, like right now, you can't find it because they don't want you to, is essentially what it boils down to. And there are ways around that.
And that's what I just said, but just shorter.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's a reason that they don't want you to find it.
No, definitely. So I'm just going to go down, and I'm not going to even read the whole list, because there is so much terrible that has been said in the past by Charlie Kirk, and not all that long ago for much of it. So, I mean, just be aware that this is a person that that Trump is discussing giving the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Mm-hmm. And I think that fact alone requires talking about who this person is and who this person was.
Yeah.
Because if we're treating him as a hero,
let's find out what his
actually talk
moves
about that.
Were. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't agree. And I don't think that most people on our side of the political spectrum will agree.
Right.
So, and there's a lot of talk about just let him be respected because he died in the way that he died. And to some extent, I understand that point of view, but we also can't glorify him if we're going to do that.
Right.
Here's some, I'm going to read like 3 from each section. These are some quotes that Charlie Kirk has said on race. He has said, quote, "If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified."
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see. Quote, "Happening all the time in urban America, prowling blacks go around for fun to target white people. That's a fact. It's happening more and more."
Good grief. So what I'm hearing is that he really leaned into the diversity hire bullshit.
Oh, yeah.
And that he's really leaning into the white person is victimized and always being chased by all the black people that want to shoot him. Wab.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
One more from the race section here, and it says, quote, "If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder, is she there because of her excellence, or is she there because of affirmative action?"
Jesus Christ. You know why she's there, stupid? She's there because poor people get bad jobs and they aren't paid enough to give a shit. That's why. Period. The end. Regardless of color. That's why she's there.
Sure. It doesn't matter.
I know. I'm sorry.
These are terrible things to say.
I know.
With regard, like he is just undercutting so much of what it is to struggle in this country and come from parts of the country that struggle and have, like, we have these systems in place in order to help people that are disadvantaged.
Right.
And it's disgusting to talk about people in this manner.
No, I know.
That's just a terrible, terrible way to.
I'm predisposed to react to every single thing that I hear, and I will try to bite my tongue so that you can get through some of these. I'm sorry.
That's right. So this is during a debate he was having, and this isn't pertaining specifically to anything in particular, but it says, and so this is in the middle of a debate. It says, quote, "We record all of it so that we put it on the internet so people can see these ideas collide. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens, because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity." Which, honestly, kind of is
wrong.
Very appropriate for what is happening in the aftermath of what happened to Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
Right? So that's the only one I'm going to go to on that one. But then we're going to go into gender, feminism, and reproductive rights.
Oh my
so this guy hits all the high marks with regard to everything shitty he's ever talked about. Like he hits all the marks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is This is him discussing news of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's engagement on his show just this last August, or just in August here. He says, quote, "Reject feminism. Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge."
Wow, wow, wow.
Right? Yeah. And then this is responding to a question about whether he would support his 10-year-old daughter aborting a pregnancy conceived because of rape on a debate show that he was part of. And he said the answer is yes, the baby would be delivered. Like that's...
Wow. So he would not support his 10-year-old daughter getting an abortion.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to say similar. My mom said the same thing with regard to... My mom was trying to understand why my sister is so opposed to their religious beliefs.
Yeah.
And I, a staunch progressive liberal feminist, was trying to explain that to my very MAGA Christian right nationalist mom. And I said, well, for example, if my child was raped and wanted to have an abortion, would you support that? And I expected there to at least be like 2 seconds of thought, like, oh, I had never thought about it like that.
Right.
And there was no 2 seconds of thought. They were like, well, I believe that would be murder. And I think that why are you punishing the baby? And they, should deliver it. And if they don't want it, then I would adopt it. And I was just like, oh my fucking God. And I was like, and that is why. So these are not just like crazy thoughts that this guy had that don't represent what real people think.
No, he's talking to a crowd that believes these things.
No,
right?
I feel like it's really important, though, to say there are people in my life, in our life, who actually believe these things. And I think that sometimes there are some liberals who are like, nobody really thinks that, though.
But they do.
They do. My parents do. My parents had this conversation with me.
Right.
And my kid's father, believes this stuff, things like this. So this is problematic. Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, and this one is with regard to gender affirming care. He said, we need to have a Nuremberg style trial for every gender affirming clinic doctor. We need it immediately.
Jesus Christ.
Right?
That's horrifying.
It really is.
That is horrifying. I have transgender people in my life that I love and care about, and that is just horrifying.
And this is, so we're going to go on to immigration. This is literally something he said, which I couldn't ever imagine leaving anybody's lips, but it left his. He says the American Democrat Party hates this country. They want to see it collapse. They love it when America becomes less white. Wow. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Like,
I do love it when it becomes less white.
How about people, like, it's just, humans are, human beings are, we're just all people. For God's sakes, why do we have to separate everybody into fucking categories of hate?
Right.
Why does everybody have to be hated in their own special little category for Republicans to exist? I don't understand this mentality and this way of thinking. It's just so fucked up.
Because they've been taught all their life and they believe that whites are superior and that anything not white is sullying their precious little blood.
Right. And he is he believes that there's a great replacement strategy happening, and so it's part of
the
his
Nazi
whole
way.
Yeah, well, and that's part of what he's advocating a lot of this to get back to a more white version of our society in the United States. So he very much is leaning into the racist aspect of everything.
That goes beyond racism. That is what the Nazis stood for.
Yeah.
That is the way.
Yeah. And so there's two more I'm going to read here. And then we'll move on from here. So with regard to Islam, because he's got to hit all the points, he says, Islam is the sword the left is using to slit the throat of America.
Wow.
Right. That's, and to be clear, I'm not even reading half the quotes from this page.
Right.
There are so many shitty quotes. Okay.
Because he had shitty stances.
Right. And this one is pertinent to our platform. So on religion, There is no separation of church and state. It's a fabrication. It's a fiction. It's not in the Constitution. It's made up by secular humanists. And that is complete and utter bullshit. And anybody that has studied this knows that, yes, we do have founding fathers that were religious. It was a different type of religion. It was a very much a clockmaker type of religion for many of them, right?
Clockmaker meaning they believe that God kind of built the thing, set it up in motion, wound it, and then hands off after that.
Right. And there is, I'm going to butcher this because I didn't plan this part, but there is a treaty, and I can't remember the name off the top of my head, in 1788, I believe it was, where I think it was Adams that reaffirmed, like, that basically we have it in law from an early treaty in our government's history that affirms that we are indeed a secular nation. And part of that is that we were fleeing from a non-secular nation.
When you say we, there were so many different countries.
Okay, I apologize. So many of the people that came to our country early on were from England, okay? And they were fleeing religious persecution. So the Protestants were fleeing the Catholics, essentially. So, right. And they were fleeing religious persecution. They came here to set up, something different. Yeah. And something different means religious freedom. And religious freedom does not mean that you get to be as Christian as you want in our government. It means that everybody gets to be here and exist with whatever religion or belief that they want. And that is what religious freedom is, not your Christian belief from your specific denomination.
That kind of goes back to like before you left. Like then go back. Right. Then go back. Go back to the country y'all came from that you're so excited. I don't know. Right? Like that's what they say to immigrants, right? Go back to the country you came from. It's kind of like what I want to say to the white people that are like out there like espousing all of this, like Christians and white and blah blah blah. Okay, fine. You like it so much. Fucking go back to the kings and queens and the whites and all that. Go back over there and see how you like it.
Yeah, essentially we're all immigrants. It's just a matter of time frames, right? Mm-hmm. But I've always, like you and I have talked about this many times. We grew up thinking that the United States was supposed to be a quote unquote melting pot.
That's
right?
how we referred to it in the 80s.
Yeah, that was the indoctrinating message that we received back then. By indoctrinating, I mean they didn't really mean it. They just wanted to make us think they meant it.
Right. But as a child, you hear that and you're like, oh, that's pretty.
Right.
Rainbows and American flags and everybody's like their own. And we all get along, and there's different flavors in the stew. That's nice.
Right. No, it was a beautiful concept, I thought.
I loved it.
Like, I latched on to the free speech and the freedom of the press and the no tyranny, all that kind of stuff, and the melting pot.
And put your hand on your heart and do the American... the Pledge of Allegiance and the Lee Greenwood.
There was a time that I thought our military only did, good things.
We saved everybody.
Because that's what I was taught to believe.
Because you were a Boy Scout and I was a military brat. And that's what they teach you. And it's pretty.
It is.
And it could be that way.
We're getting off on a bit of a rant here.
But it could be that way.
It could if we all tried to work towards something like that. But right now, we're doing the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. We're doing the exact opposite, and we're using more than that. We're using this assassination that happened of Charlie Kirk. Mm-hmm. Not we, the United States, our government, the people higher up are using this moment in history to further inflame the divisiveness in our country. They're using this person who was already inflammatory to the left to make it seem like we all wanted to kill him. And we didn't.
We all on the left wanted to kill him.
No,
make
in
it
fact,
seem that way.
Pretty much universally, we all do not wish assassinations or political murder or murder of any type to any other human being on the planet. That is not something that we wish on other people or generally would inflict on other people.
No, what we wish is that you would fucking chillax and maybe get laid and, I don't know, like chew a gummy. Like, fucking get along. I don't know. Shut up.
Right. Well, and more than that, we are only hearing right now about how the left is violent. But if you look at actual stats, if you look at the record, the right is the much more violent side when it comes to atrocities that have happened in the last 10, 15, 20 years.
Well, I mean, they're like, fuck women and make them have all the babies and blah, 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 and get back in the kitchen, bitch. And then they're like, yeah, and brown people go away or do what I say or whatever, go back to the country. Like, they're so mean to everybody. And then they're like, what? We're Christians. We're nice. It's the left that's mean.
Right.
And it's like, whoa, that is a lot of backwards bullshit.
But specifically right now, they're not mentioning the shootings that happened in Minnesota.
Right.
They're only mentioning, Charlie Kirk, and they're mentioning the assassination attempt on Trump, and they're mentioning, they're stretching back to find some stuff. Like I know that there was a couple things mentioned by the Fox newscaster in the intro that were like kind of further back, and I'm like, wow, you're really digging to find some stuff that we, as the left, we quote unquote did, and it's just amazing to me how hard they try to make it seem like we are the violent ones, when in reality, it's not generally us.
No.
Us being the left, us being the liberals,
It's really not.
They've got all the guns, and they're very happy to tell you that at any given point,
And then they're like, let's do a war! And then they're like, why does the left always want war? And it's like, you are literally talking out both sides of your mouth, sir.
Right. You're the ones advocating it, and then you're blaming it on us we're causing it by one person being crazy and killing another person.
Yeah.
That's how we're causing it, apparently.
Love it.
I don't get it. I don't understand it, but they're blaming it on our rhetoric. But I'm like, have you heard? Like, I just listed off all the quotes. One. You guys, your rhetoric is so much worse.
It's so
much worse.
Regularly.
Right.
Like, listen to this. In a 2022 episode of his podcast, Charlie Kirk called for a quote-unquote patriot to bail out of jail the man who broke into Nancy Pelosi's house and attacked and tried to murder her husband with a hammer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, you can, like, look that up.
Right.
Hello.
Yeah. No, and that's just it. They're conveniently missing all of these points.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not even talking about January 6th. We're not talking about any of the shit that's happened that have been done by the right, you know? And it's just, it's absolutely horrific what is happening to our country and how we're allowing the media to split us down the middle. And I've been having this discussion with people more often than not lately about how we live in two separate worlds. Like, they are seeing in no short order, all of the horrible things that the left is doing from their point of view, because their rabbit hole has sent them down this area of seeing everything bad, everything horrible that the left is doing.
And also, cops are, they have angel wings and they fly around saving people, and they're so sweet, and they do dances with neighborhood kids. Did you know that? They're so sweet.
You know what? I'm sure you could find videos to support that as well.
Yeah.
I'm just saying they definitely do.
Well, that's my point, though.
Efforts to do videos like that.
There's like 5 good cops in one state, right? And then like they see those 5 and they're like, and that's representative of the entire union. And I've never seen an abusive cop in my entire life. And if a cop was abusive, I'm sure you had it coming.
I'm going to suggest this because it's something that you and I have dealt with, even in and of our, like, within our own family. Don't take anything at face value.
No.
Don't let anything be your one fact from your one source. Don't let yourself fall down a fucking rabbit hole.
I will admittedly say that because I am hot-headed, that I am. I'm very hot-headed, and I have confirmation bias often. And so I have like seen things that require further checking out to find the validity, the veracity of it.
Yeah.
And you've called me out.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not saying it happens like all the time. Like, I'm better than boomers.
I'm not going to say I've never been wrong.
No.
I'm wrong less, but.
You are. No, it's true. It's true. Like, for every 3 times that you've called me out, I've maybe called you out like a half. You know?
Sure.
Like, if we're like talking about ratios here.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say like I'm wrong on a weekly basis. But like maybe once every 3 or 4 months, I come to you with something and you're like, I'm not sure about that. Have you checked that out?
Yeah. So I guess I want to say this. I think that it is very important to say that 2 things can be true at once, right? We can both abhor what happened with regard to the violence and the death of Charlie Kirk, right? We can absolutely not condone that in any way whatsoever and say that we are definitely 100% against that type of action being taken.
More than that it's really sad that he was assassinated in front of his wife and child.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is tragic.
No, there is no doubt about that. That is it. No matter how you discuss this, what happened with regard to a human life is tragic and awful, right? But it is also true that Charlie Kirk was very divisive and not great for a cohesive society where human beings are respected and cared about and taken care of as human beings. He was not the ideal role model for what I consider to be the America I want to live in.
You know, I would even go so far as to say that I don't know who the person was and what their belief system was and whatever the person who committed this murder.
Yeah.
But I will say that if they were on the left, they did the left no favors because very best case scenario, and it ain't good, they created a martyr.
Sure.
And
no, absolutely.
I do not thank you for that, sir.
It doesn't matter, though. They created the martyr for Charlie. Charlie Kirk was a martyr within an hour of this assassination happening.
That's what I'm saying.
It didn't matter what political persuasion this person was from. They already got that narrative out into the world as soon as it happened.
Right.
It didn't matter. I've got a list of top Republican accounts on social media
talking about how shitty the left was for doing this.
Not just that, but they're talking about war. They're talking about revenge. They're talking about some really, really crazy shit.
Yeah, that nobody in public office should even a little bit have on their account.
No, and the part that is very scary to me, and the reason that this is an important conversation to have, in my opinion, is that right now, within the last day or two, we have had Trump and Vance both say things that are very vague and scary with regard to how they're going to crack down on the left. And it's not just the political assassin. No, it's
I mean
the left. It's people.
Yeah.
It's us.
Well, even prior to that, when he was talking about putting the National Guard in quote unquote crime-riddled cities.
He's not just talking about it. They're going to Memphis, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And
that's where they're heading next. They're going to fucking Memphis.
Yeah. And so the fact that that is happening right when Charlie Kirk gets killed, like that only gives Trump and his team more fodder. Like, see, they're so bad. This is why you guys need us to come in and just, not just take over these left cities, but probably, I don't know, maybe fire some left people, maybe jail them, maybe worse.
No, this is 100% authoritarianism, and this is 100% how democracy dies. If we let this continue, if we let them make this person a martyr, if we let them canonize Charlie Kirk to the point that he becomes the epitome of what is the standard model for your perfect American, we have lost our country. That is not, because of what he stands for, what he stood for, is absolutely terrible.
It's not the America that I am any part of. I can tell you that right now.
No, and that's what we're discussing and why we're discussing this is not because we agree with what happened. It's because we disagree with how this reaction is going to and is shaping our country currently.
Right.
And it's already happening. If you've been paying any attention in the last week, you have seen that people are losing their jobs over this whole thing, and not because they are advocating that they agree with the murder of Charlie Kirk, but because they don't agree with what Charlie Kirk stood for.
Right. Right.
It has nothing to do with advocating murder. No one that I have seen is advocating murder. They just simply are not agreeing with what he stood for.
Right. I mean, he was a disgusting human.
Yeah.
With disgusting anti-American views.
Yes. Yes. And I'm sorry that he got shot and killed. I had a whole actual plan for this podcast that I was going by, but I've gone completely off script the entire time. So because I'm so incensed over
the reaction.
The reaction.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with what happened. Look, Charlie Kirk existed before the reaction, and what has actually caused the problem is the reaction to his death, not him existing before his death.
Right.
He was a terrible person before his death. And there's a million things we could say about who he was and who he would have become. But the terrible part is what is happening right now.
Yeah.
And that is why we cannot be silent about this going forward, because what has to be said is that this is not the America we want to live in. If it goes and becomes Charlie Kirk's America, this is not America any longer.
I mean, I think we're pretty much there, but I get your feelings. Yes, I agree.
Right. I don't know that I really have anything else. That was the gist of what I wanted to say.
And now I hope that we haven't said anything that gets us fired or killed or kicked out of the country.
You know what? You know what? Honestly, right now, I feel pretty good about what I said. And if it did get me fired, I did not at any point make okay what happened.
Right.
The only thing that I care about is my country and how it goes forward from here. And that is my civic duty. That is my civic responsibility to make sure that my country stands for the things that our country has stood for and should continue to stand for.
Yeah.
And those are what our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. I'm not talking about the crazy shit. I'm not talking about left-leaning ideas. I'm talking about let's stick to what we have and not fucking go away from that.
Right.
Okay? Let's just keep our fucking country. Shouldn't we? I think that'd be a great idea.
What if we just, I don't know, do America, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Like the way it's supposed to be, the way we were taught as children. What if we just do that?
It sounds idealistic and wonderful to me. I think that'd be great.
Yeah. I'm okay with being naive for a minute.
That being said, again, we do not condone the murder of Charlie Kirk in any way whatsoever.
Don't be shooting each other, y'all.
Political violence is never the answer, but it is time to make ourselves heard about what we believe this country should be and will be.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
head over to patreon.com/sacrilegious discourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe, leave an Apple review, join us on Twitter, support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.